Hello everybody and welcome to Decepticasts. This was meant to be part 3 of episode 10. However, because I was a little bit sleepy when I was encoding the videos, I happened to lose the last bit of this match. So here we are. I'm going to recast it so that I can re-put it up on the site in its complete form. So, let's get this game going with some introductions here. On the blue team, we have Mayhem as the Chaos Lord. His first ally is Shaw as the Pink Apothecary. And their final ally is Lelouch as the Force Commander. On the other side, with the red team, we have Neritico as the Chaos Lord. His first ally, Sototar, as the Yellow Eldar Warp Spider Exarch, and their final ally, Magic, Modest, and Majestic, as the Plague Champion. So, getting action rolling here. Now everybody's moving out and doing typical early capping for this map. In general, if you don't know, on this map, most teams of 3 will send one person to this top area here to battle over this whole region with the opposing player, and meanwhile the other 2 will go south. However, we do have the Warp Spider Exarch jumping in here, harassing these scouts. A model goes down. He blinks, trying to get behind that cover, but doesn't quite get into it. As you can tell, there's no color indicators around his health bar. Those scouts are getting rather low. Doesn't seem like Sho is noticing. Oh, it's getting very low on the health there, and oh, he retreats right as the last model goes down. An early squad wipe. That is not good for blue team. Not good at all. Meanwhile, we do have both Sho and Lelouch down here going up against Magic here, who does a full retreat upon noticing that both players were here. That is not necessary to do. You know, those units are slow, but you can just pull back a little bit manually without doing the full retreat business. It looks like Mayhem is sweeping around this ring here, trying to flank this Eldar force. He has gone double heretics. Neritico has also gone double heretics, but also has a Chaos Marine squad in there. Sototar does have double Guardian Banshee, and he did just drive off these tactical Marines from Sho, who were sent to defend. Meanwhile, though, we do have a flank with the Chaos Lord and the Heretics, almost causing a Guardian wipe there. However, 2 models do make it out. This squad manages to make it out with no losses. These Banshees are now in a bad spot with the Heretics on one side. Oh, they are going to go for a retreat. Will they get out without model losses? Yes, it seems they will. Meanwhile, however, Neritico has pushed forward and capped most of the top. Lelouch is in the bottom, battling quite nicely for the bottom. His attacks have been upgraded with flamers. His scouts are helping out there as well. A heretic battle now, and that is not going to go the right way for Mayhem. He does manage to get off a nice kill of the week to try to drive those out, and these heretics start retreating perhaps a bit soon. They might have been able to get a squad wipe there if they had pursued, but you never know. Now some Corn Worship to help the Chaos Lord stay in melee with these Chaos Marines. For some reason, these heretics aren't helping. Meanwhile, Sho is driving out Neritico's Neritico's Chaos Lord. And some more heretic boxing now. Double Doom Blasts go off, and once again Mayhem's Heretics are in a bad spot, but instead of retreating, he hits Worship. That is not good. That squad is getting quite low. And a wipe! Blue team now has had 2 squad wipes, whereas red has not had any. And now, Lelouch with these scouts in melee against Banshees, or against the Warp Spider. The Banshees are quite low, however they are going to make it out as neither the Force Commander nor the Chaos Lord pursues. Kraken Bolts being popped against a Warp Spider Exarch, I don't believe that does anything for them. As far as I know, commanders have a special armor type called Commander, as Caleris Tooltip says right there in the window you can see. And so things like Kraken Bolts, which affect heavy armor, don't directly affect them, I don't think. Nice Devastator out now for show. His attacks have also been upgraded with a Flamer. A nice grenade coming down. Oh, and Lelouch doesn't notice. And that attack squad's going to have to get out of there right away. Another grenade will show notice. He does not, however, the grenade was not quite as direct of a hit as his squad was spread out rather than all balled up in cover. Now, both of Magic's Chaos Marine squads have been upgraded with Eternal War. You can tell because of the plus over the icon and also because of the little red spikies around their hands. That's just a little tip for anyone who did not know that already. It's a very subtle change, but it's very helpful to know on the battlefield what kind of Chaos Marines you're going against. Now, the Flamer on the Chaos Marines is really not very good. Flamers just aren't that effective against heavy infantry. They'd be better served against these grenade heretics. The Force Commander with Battlecry has these Chaos Marines under control, as Battlecry does cause him to knock back with every attack. Devastator's now in a bit of trouble with grenade heretics and double Chaos Marines coming up behind him. Lelouch now the first to be, well, the second to be going to tier 2. Mayhem was already tier 2. A big push here coming in, and blue team needs to about face here and get ready for this. There's some assault marines for show. However, they seem to be up. There they go. Yes, they jump in on the ranged, but then immediately refocus to the Chaos Lord. Not a good plan. Chaos Lord loves to melee. If you have melee, you do not want it on the Chaos Lord unless he has no energy or has just used Kill the Weak. The Devastator is now setting up, but the Banshees are quite close. They may be able to get to it, and they are. However, they retreat just to be safe there. A good move by Sotatar, as there was a lot of melee around that might have caused the wipe had they stayed in. Now, Mayhem has both the Armor of the Inferno and the Blood Maul upgrades for his Chaos Lord, and I believe that right there was the Blood Maul knockdown ability. He then casts some Let the Galaxy Burn, but he is quite low on this retreat. The Corn Worship's helping him get out of there, but these heretics are quite low. Mayhem still has not bought any more troops after that first set of heretic squads. He now is floating quite a bit of wreck. And again, these flamer attacks are focusing the wrong... there they go. They move over to the grenade ticks, and look how fast those go down. It shows Apothecary has gone down. His attacks, however, jump in this Razorback for safety. Meanwhile, Magic is down here looting all the nodes. Red has still had most of the map control, however, victory points do slightly favor blue team. Now, even though none of these units can do great vehicle damage, Razorback is still something you have to be somewhat cautious with, because if anti-vehicle does pop out, a Razorback does not last that long. Lelouch has now picked up Show's Apothecary. Show's now also going tier 2 along with all of red team. Meanwhile, Magic still down here capping. Mayhem is now repurchased, or for the first time purchased Chaos Marine squad, and seems to be heading towards the northern region of the map. Although actually, if you look at the compass on the map, it's actually the northeast corner. Sort of a weird orientation for the compass. And it looks like they're going for this power node, which is not a bad idea since they did entirely lose a power farm, and so are somewhat behind in power. Nice engagement here with Show versus Magic. His Devastator is very nicely positioned up on this high ground in yellow cover there, and firing down merrily upon the Chaos forces. Razorback now covering the capture of this point for the Force Commander. Apothecary did get ambushed here and was taken out quite handily by Neritico and Sotatar. And another Gen Bash going down. Now with the Banshee Exarch, that'll be quite a bit faster. And already there is some anti-vehicle, soft though it may be, to threaten the Razorback. Heretics now constructing a Corn Shrine at this point. Not necessarily the best placement, as Keltos noted in the comments for my... Oh, a Blood Crusher is also on the field. For some reason not chasing after this Razorback. For some reason the Razorback is chasing after the Blood Crusher. Because it had rocket attacks in it, that's why. A second Corn Shrine going up. Bloodletters are effective against vehicles. They do heavy melee, so that Blood Crusher is in a dangerous spot. And so has charged over here to get some worship, get some support from these Chaos Marines. These Chaos Marines have no upgrades at all yet. And meanwhile, Sho is battling desperately for this power node. However, his Assault Marines can't take on Banshees and Double Guardians and Wraith Guards. But the Wraith Guards can take on the Banshees quite nicely, though. Very nice volley. That is the trouble with artillery, I suppose. Devastator and Plasma Devastator setting up with nested cones. Not necessarily the best placement, as teleported Warp Spider Exarch can force melee on this guy, and then force melee on this guy, and back and forth, and keep either of them from setting up. Well, the Wraith Guards are taking out this Razorback quite handily. A bit of a mistake there, as all he had to do was unload this stuff on the Wraith Guards, and the Force Commander would have jumped into melee, and then they wouldn't be able to shoot. At this point, we now have 4 Corn Shrines up here, and as I was saying before, Keltos noted that the placement here is not that great, and I have to agree with him. There are a long line of sights from here and from here by which these towers can be taken out without having the ability to respond, and they are quite clumped up as well. In general, if you're going to use a worship shrine, a heretic shrine, you want to put it out of line of sight of anything that your opponent might throw at you. You want to make them walk around to have to get to it, or to have to come into the line of sight of something else to come to it. You want them to have to fight the tower to destroy it, basically. Apothecary for Sho still writhing in agony on the ground there. Meanwhile, Neritico is the first to go for Tier 3. And a bit of a note to make here is that Magic Modest and Majestic has 3 Blood Crushers. I'm going to assume that's an auto-reinforce mistake there. Malignant Blindness there used by Mayhem to make Neritico hesitate a little bit and pull back. He was actually probably hoping that Neritico would charge in, not realizing how many towers there were, but Neritico made the cautious play. Always a good idea if Malignant Blindness goes down. Sototar in the chat a little bit shocked by what's going on. Planning to bring Wraithguard to save the day. He is getting a second Wraithguard. Here they are. 3 Blood Crushers. If anyone's wondering,